Well, welcome everyone to Right to the Point podcast hosted by the Republican Study Committee. I'm your host for this week anyway, Right to the Point. This is really a way to cut through what the mainstream media won't tell you, the truth, right here from the Republican Study Committee. And I'm the chairman of the Messaging Task Force here at the Republican Study Committee, Congressman Mark Alford from the great state of Missouri. Joining us is our newest member in the Republican Conference, becoming, I should say, a close friend of mine already. We had dinner together the other night, and he is Congressman Van Epps, Matt Van Epps from the great state of Tennessee. You're going to meet him in just a moment. Welcome to the
Thanks,
podcast.
Mark. Thanks for having me. Excited to be here.
Well, let's get into it. I want to tell you a little bit about Matt. He is a member of the U.S. House of Representatives, of course, from the great state of Tennessee, their 7th District. You know, Mark Green, who is chairman of the Homeland Security, he retired, left Congress. This opened up a special election, and Matt is celebrating his 2nd month of being here on Capitol Hill. This was a race that drew national attention because it really brought leaders of both major parties took them to Middle Tennessee to campaign. In the end, Matt beat out the Democrat, Afton Ben, in a special election there and edged her out by 9 points. For the media, though, that wasn't good enough. They said, well, in past elections, the Republican has beaten the Democrat by something like 20 points. So they weren't satisfied. But here to talk about that race and his career and what he hopes to do in Congress, our newest member, Matt Van Epps. Good to have you.
Mark, thanks so much. Honored to be here. Yeah. Excited to be a member of RSC now. It was at my first lunch today.
Yeah.
On this 2-month anniversary of being in Congress. And it has been incredible, a whirlwind. I'm so grateful for Tennessee 7 sending me here. Amazing people. And just excited to fight hard on behalf of them. And we're doing that already. We've prioritized our team building to start, and we've got a full team now, 2 months in, and we're excited about that. But you know, to go back, and I've been was interested in policy and politics for a long time. Really interested in serving our country, and that started from a young age. My dad was a Vietnam veteran. He was an infantryman and tunnel rat, served in Vietnam, had a really hard combat experience. But he provided the inspiration and motivation for both my brother and I. And we both are West Point graduates. And it was because of the hard work that my mom and dad put in. Neither of them went to college. My mom was raised very poor. My dad went on to work at IBM after his service in Vietnam, and unfortunately passed away in 2013 due to cancer from Agent Orange. But it was the values that they set for us from a very young age, truly faith, family, and freedom, to work hard, to help others, to be humble in your pursuits, that stuck with my brother and I. My brother's still active duty Army. I'm very proud of him. He's a lieutenant colonel in the Army. And so that journey took me to West Point. I was at West Point on 9/11, was a freshman there, and that was a very formative moment. And we knew on that day that we were going to war. And so we spent the next 3.5 years preparing to go to war. My class entered West Point with 1,200 cadets. Time Magazine did a big story on us, and in May of 2005, right before I graduated, called us a class of 9/11. We graduated with exactly 911 cadets on May 28th, 2005, which was the hand of Providence, I think. And that class deployed to combat. I went on to be an Apache attack helicopter pilot, and deployed to Iraq, served in Iraq for 12 months, and then was assessed and selected for the 160th Special Operations Aviation Regiment out of Fort Campbell, switched over to flying the MH-47 Gulf Chinook, and deployed 8 times to combat to take out terrorist high-value targets. And so those very formative experiences early in my career are helpful now. From
how so? Team
building. You know, I think from forming our teams and staying really focused on the mission, that's what we're doing today. I have an amazing team. I'm so proud of them, from the campaign team to the official office team. And so we've come in with a deliberate effort to lean into a few different areas. And you know, I think to step back, one of the things that happened this past week in district for us was a big ice storm that hit the Tennessee 7th Congressional District, all over our rural counties. Nashville got a lot of ice. We set the number one priority last week of constituent services and reaching out and ensuring our team stay connected to mayors across our district. And I'm seeing the outpouring of support neighbors taking care of neighbors was critical. But from the very first moment that we took office back on December 4th, we wanted to ensure that our field offices were up and running, our district director, deputy district director were in place so that we could take care of our people. And I'm proud of the team and the efforts that they had last week as well. And can dive into some of the policy we're thinking about too here, and some of the other some of the things in my career that have just been very formative for me as well.
Well, you mentioned your mission and hiring a team that's going to help you fulfill that mission, because it truly is a team when you get here. It's not just the member. What do you see as your mission here?
Absolutely. Well, I think first and foremost, it's to uphold and defend the Constitution of the United States, and to deliver for the people of the Tennessee 7th Congressional District. It's also to work with our colleagues in Congress to get things done to advance meaningful policy and legislation in line with the president, and to get that done for the American people. And every single day that I walk in, it's a pinch me moment for me, and just seeing the Capitol and how honored I am to be able to serve here. But you're right, it's been as the newest member, and not coming in with the freshman class that had two months of time to get to know each other. Everyone in the freshman class and all of our Republican colleagues have been so helpful to me. Everyone has really gone out of their way to ensure that I'm a member of the team. I'm pulled in. You were kind enough to be at dinner together, which was great. And the leadership team has been phenomenal. And I just appreciate that a lot, because you're right, it is a full team to get this done. And now I'm excited to be on the RSC team as well, and to contribute there, and just really eager and excited.
So let's talk about your committee assignments. When you first get here as a congressman, when you come through a regular election, not a special election, you have to really fight for the committees that you want to be on, and sometimes you don't get the committees you want to be on. What committees are you on now, and what do you hope to aspire to?
Sure. So I'm on Homeland Security and Science,
Perfect
Space, and
for
Technology.
you.
I think it's perfect. And Homeland Security, with the special operations aviation background, and the time in the Army, and going after those terrorist high-value targets, I think is right in line with my background. I'm on two subcommittees there, Transportation and Maritime Security, and we just had a great hearing with the Coast Guard. And then I'm on Counterterrorism and Intel subcommittee as well, which is aligned with my background. At West Point, they stood up something called the Combating Terrorism Center in 2004 when I was there. I was in the very first cohort of cadets that were in a seminar class associated with that center. It's the same center that evaluated the bin Laden papers after that raid. And so it's something, the counterterrorism piece and intel is something I've been thinking about for a long time, and I'm eager to serve in this committee in that aspect. And as on Science, Space, and Technology, my first dream as a kid was actually to be an astronaut.
Really?
And so I was born and raised in just east of Cleveland, Ohio, before coming to Tennessee in the Army. But more astronauts from Ohio. And so as a kid growing up, and
John Glenn was from Ohio.
John Glenn, Neil Armstrong, Buzz Aldrin were heroes of mine. And when I was at West Point, I did an undergraduate fellowship with the Center for the Study of the Presidency and Congress that brought me to D.C. when I was a cadet, also in 2004. And one of the things that I got to do is there was a big dinner for that program. And I didn't know who I was going to be sitting with. And they tried to put one kind of dignitary at each table. And I happened to be sitting right next to Buzz Aldrin. And so that was starting to be a full circle moment for me. And now being on Science, Space, and Technology, and just today having done the NASA reauthorization bill, which was incredible, is another full circle moment. So I'm really excited about service on that committee. Everything from quantum and AI to NASA and the commercialization of space, how private companies and NASA can work together to fulfill
That's
our
the future,
mission.
really.
It is.
I happen to be on the appropriations subcommittee that oversees space, so I'm kind of in tune with that. And we're about to have another Artemis launch soon.
Very excited about that. Artemis 2 is going to be take the furthest flight into space a human has ever been, as we prep to build a lunar base on the moon, and Artemis 3 and beyond, which is really exciting. Excited to be a part of those efforts.
So it's also fitting you're on Homeland Security. You got slap dab in the middle of what's going on now with the controversy over DHS and ICE. The committee room is not too far from my office, so I see the protesters out there, especially when Kristi Noem shows up. What's your take on all this? Biden obviously let 15 million, possibly more illegal aliens into our nation. President Trump got to office on a promise to deport illegal aliens. Where do we go from here?
Absolutely. Well, my very first committee hearing ever in Congress was the one where Secretary Noem was testifying on Homeland Security. So that was a really, I stayed for the entire meeting. The team blocked off the time. I wanted to spend the 4 hours to just understand the committee, understand the questions that were being asked on both sides, and to be able to ask my questions too. But I think the president was absolutely right to secure the border, and has led just incredible efforts there. As you mentioned, 15 million. So and you think about the fiscal impact of that every year, in addition to criminals who are committing heinous crimes. And so the president has done an incredible job, and seeing now how Congress has led on that as well in conjunction with the president. I think we've got to support DHS. We've got it. Those are professionals that are executing an incredibly important job. I have always and will always stand with law enforcement, federal, state, and local, with the military, with veterans. And I think it is just incredibly important. They're executing a vital mission to go after criminal illegal aliens, to keep our communities safe. I never wanted where my family or any of my constituents' families walk down the street to lunch or to church and have to feel like they're not in a safe environment. And that's what our federal law enforcement's doing. They're going after criminal illegal aliens to keep us safe. A great example is the collaboration that's happened between ICE and federal assets in Memphis, Tennessee. Mm-hmm. It's not in district for me, but it was built off of this model in D.C. with deploying the National Guard. So the Tennessee Army National Guard and other state assets have gone with ICE and other federal assets to Memphis, and we've seen great results. Crime rates are coming down, violent crimes coming down, and it's a powerful example when state leadership works with the federal government and can bring local partners along to execute a really vital mission, and that it keeps us all safe.
It's the antithesis of what's happening in Minneapolis, though.
It is.
Another town that begins with M, but a sanctuary city where you have people coming from all over the country to try to interfere with law enforcement. And tragic things happen when you interfere with law enforcement.
So we've got to we've got to stop interfering with law enforcement. We've got to stop that rhetoric that drives people out to interfere. It's so harmful to our country, and ICE and other federal agents have just a critical mission to do, and they're out there doing that after 4 years of a porous border under Biden, who let in 15 million. Many with a criminal record, and many others, as we're finding, I think it's 70% or more have a criminal record or pending charges. But there's a whole lot of others that are not in that category that have committed crimes in their country of origin. And so that is incredibly problematic, and we've got to continue to resource DHS and ICE and the other organizations there. On funding DHS, ICE is a critical component, but there's a whole lot more to include FEMA. And as I mentioned about this, this devastating storm that's come through and impacted so many states in addition to Tennessee. But we have real impacts in the Tennessee 7th Congressional District, and we need those FEMA assets. We need those teams as a part of the solution, and that's a critical component to DHS.
That's why it was so important that we got this continuing resolution done. I hate continuing resolutions, but the only thing worse, I think, than a continuing resolution is a government shutdown. Yeah. And so this 10-day window that we have to get something done, whatever it's going to be with the DHS. The good news is, under the one big beautiful bill that we passed, the funding is there for DHS, but we still need to fund FEMA, TSA, Secret Service, and all these other agencies under this bill. What are some of the other priorities that you see for conservatives in Republican Study Committee, the largest conservative caucus on Capitol Hill? What do you see as some of the priorities that you would like to see us get done?
Well, I think, and we were talking a little bit about today too, but this return to regular order, where we're passing, as you mentioned, and passing the appropriations bills, which were so important, so critical to bring in the Trump administration's policies and funding levels are absolutely critical to keep working to lower taxes for working families. I think as I've talked to constituents just recently back home a week ago, I think I totally agree is moving away from the continuing resolutions and we'll solve this one with DHS. 96% of the government is funded now, thanks to the great work that you and the appropriators did on those bills. But return in regular order, where we pass the authorization, where we get these budgets in place and we have spending limits. I think
explain to people why that's important, though, because you hear the regular order a lot, and some people might not know what that is, or like, why is that important?
Yeah, well, I mean, absolutely. I think ultimately to reduce spending. I mean, we want a conservative approach here, and we want to continue to reduce discretionary spending and to balance the budget. And it's going to take a whole lot of time and effort to do that. And this was not a situation that was created overnight. The debt and the deficit were not, but starting to get back to regular order allows us to address that problem and allows us to put conservative fiscal principles in place and policies so that we can just get government spending down, and we can continue to unlock the American economy. And the president's been doing that, and he's been leading on it, and we've got to continue to move in that direction. It's just so absolutely critical, and one of the huge reasons why we need to hold the majority in the midterms as well.
That's exactly right. Do you have a tight race this go around?
We think we take nothing for granted.
Yeah.
From the moment we got in, we said we were going to be the hardest working team. We were going to go out every day and we were going to execute. Won the primary by 26 points because of the team's effort. Won the general, as you mentioned, by 9 points in a normally R+10 district. So we hit the target right on.
But the media still wasn't satisfied. They said that, well, this portends that the Republicans are in trouble for the midterms. We're going to lose the majority. I don't think that's the case.
I agree. I think the mainstream media was totally wrong in that. They wanted to go down that road because it was convenient for them. But we hit the target, and we think this go around we'll have better numbers. We've got increased targets, and we think we're going to hit those increased numbers too.
What did you learn in your first go around that you're going to put into practice, or learn from a lesson maybe that you can do better this next, without giving away any secrets to an opponent?
Yeah.
What is something you could do differently?
Well, I think one of the things that our team is incredible. And so like one of the things that we're doing, we've adjusted some people on the team. Some people moved to DC, and we've promoted others. Mm-hmm. And we have an incredible campaign manager who's actually here today visiting DC. And the team, it all comes back to this team effort that we put together. We had amazing finance co-chairs, amazing campaign team, an amazing general consultant, and we were all pulling in the same direction. Our coordination and collaboration was key, and I'm honored to have been endorsed by the president again in this race. And
early on,
very early on. So those are things we want to keep the same.
Yeah.
But I think we want to push really hard every single day, and the team has done that and has shown that. When we go back in the district, we want to take care of our folks. We want to be present. We tried in this past week. We had a very deliberate. It was actually our first district week where we were going to be there for 5 days since the election, and we had a very deliberate plan. And unfortunately, that plan changed because of the weather. Mm-hmm. But the team did such an amazing job of pivoting and ensuring that we could get out to visit multiple county emergency management agencies, the Tennessee Emergency Management Agency, a number of nonprofits who are doing the work real time. And that was really important. Number one, to say thank you to these first responders, these community leaders, these who are taking care of people that are still without power. And I think the other was just to learn and listen. What can we do? What can we do to help with FEMA, with coordination at the state level? And the team just did. I'm just really impressed by.
And to let your constituents know that you're there.
That's right. To let them, that we're there.
That you care.
And we care. Yeah. And we do. And I think that is just so incredibly important. We were. That servant leadership mindset and being out there and just being with them.
So you've been here 2 months. What's been the biggest surprise for you in 2 months that, man, I didn't know that about Congress, or the way things go on, or
one of the things I'm proud of that I didn't is my ability now to get from the office to the House floor to vote. So like that is I can
Underground?
underground. I
Yeah.
can mostly navigate myself there. But I've been just so excited about, as I mentioned, about the freshman class and everyone just extending a hand to help. And however, whether it's staffing, Celeste Malloy has sent over 3 of her interns when we didn't have an intern
Really?
on at separate times.
Yeah.
But like that was
She's great.
She's great, and it was it just so helpful to us as we're trying to staff our team and build the systems and processes so that we can get really effective. And just a great example, a number of just, hey, come to dinner with us, come meet, and so we can exchange ideas and build relationships and
This
do the
place
networking.
really is about relationships. I know there are people who want to go out on their own, but even when you're a conservative, you want to be around like-minded people that you can learn from and you can grow together, develop ideas. And it's a lot of camaraderie here, especially
Yes.
in the Republican Study Committee, because we're working on ideas that are going to move our conference even in a more conservative direction.
Absolutely. That's why I'm so excited to be on RSC now. And I'm just so thankful to have gotten voted in to be a member of RSC. And I want to be a part of that. I think the informational lunches and the way that just the structure happens is helpful and conducive, especially for a new member like me who's trying to get plugged into to build those relationships and figure out where can we help co-sponsor, how can we take the lead in certain areas. And it's one of the things that our team set as a priority with our committee assignments as the brand new guy is that, for example, on Homeland Security, on counterterrorism and intel, we said that we're gonna show up every week and we're gonna do things beyond just normal committee assignments to learn about the threat environment, to learn about what's happening, and to show our interest and to take any bills that the staff produces out of counterterrorism and intel and out of the broader committee. And so we're doing that now. And so we're hoping to lead on some bills that'll come out of there, and then go to the full committee. And we want to work really hard to help our teams here, both RSC and the committees and our other Republican colleagues as well.
Well, Matt, I want to close on something a little bit fun, take a little turn here. This is a segment called What is Your Right Opinion? All right. So something that no one can change your mind on. Maybe it's you should never have pineapple on pizza. What is something that is your right opinion?
Absolutely. This one's real easy, Mark. West Point is the best service academy, and Army is the best branch. So my other colleagues might disagree, but I have with my brother and I both go in there when I talk about my dad and just the inspiration that he was to try to pursue that. It's a special place for our family, and the Army Navy game every year is a great rivalry and undertaking. And I, being on this side of it now too, and being a part of the Service Academy nomination process has been just awesome.
That's an awesome deal. And I was
Just
never
awesome.
served, but that is one of the most awesome things to be able to call an individual and change their lives with a nomination.
It is. It's the most, and having been on the other side of it too, and now seeing this side and just how, I'm very involved in that process, very interested in it. We have a great committee and team set up to do that, but you're truly changing kids' lives, and I'm so thankful to be a part of that process.
Real quickly, a little bit about your family,
Yes.
wife and kids.
Yes, wife works full time in Nashville, and my daughter is 18 months and is the absolute best thing ever. When I come home now, she comes running at me and says, "Dad," and gives me a hug, and the single best feeling ever in the world for me, and I'm just so proud of them. I'm when I think about my ultimate why, my daughter is a part of that, her and her generation, and wanting to do what's right for them, to fight for them, and that's what is in my mind every single day, and wanting to get up and work hard for them, and to just work with you and our colleagues and the president to make this the best country ever.
Well, Matt, I am so glad you're here. So glad you're part of the
Mark.
Republican Study Committee. and I see bright things ahead for you. I'm not just saying that. You've got a lot of talent. You've got a lot of heart, love for this country, and a love for Jesus Christ.
That's right.
Can't go wrong.
Absolutely. Thanks, Mark.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
This is a great episode. Thanks for sitting down with us. Hey, be sure to follow the Republican Study Committee on all social media platforms, Twitter, X, Instagram, Facebook, Rumble. The handle is @RepublicanStudy. We're going to sign off. Thanks for listening, and thank you to Chairman August Pfluger for allowing me to sit in on this episode, and we'll see you next time.